I had somebody that I love trapped psychologically, emotionally, mentally, relationally.
There are a lot of men out there who struggle in this space, as we know. Those evaluations are critical, bro.
One thing that really hurts us and what it hurt me in that journey is isolation. All that matters, not hanging out, looking cool, playing games, getting a girl.
In order for you to excel in areas of your life, you have to put in the work, you have to be intentional, and you have to be consistent. Have these moments, it's enriching, and I feel like my batteries just get recharged.
What's up, family? It's your main man, Coach Crump, with another great episode of the Boy Man King podcast. And with my main man, Chizzy. Say what's up to the people, my guy.
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's going
Listen,
on?
I'm feeling very like, serenity,
Yeah.
spiritual calmness.
Okay.
I put on, yeah, I got the white shirt. I was just like,
Okay.
I wanted to come to you with a conversation that I think is important that both of us have. It's just like, what's on your heart?
Yeah.
Men don't have a space enough to share what's on their heart and
Yeah.
to get stuff off, get stuff off the chest, off the shoulders. Man, my wife, she humbles me all the time. Like it's like I'm forever humbled by her, right?
Next level Nick. Shout out
And
to next level Nick.
shout out to Next Level Nick, man. She's amazing. And I'm always assuming wrong. And I did it again last month. I did it again last week, but the situation I want to bring up is I knew she had stress
Yeah.
in her job. And I knew she had stress with maybe a personal circumstance.
Yeah.
But in my mind, Chizzy, it was the reason why she was, feeling the way she was feeling is because of that stress, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I'm like trying to like you do some domesticated things, send some texts, I'm trying to shoot my shot.
Yeah.
And then she's finished working. Then she comes upstairs. She says, "Hey, babe, can we talk?" I was like, "For sure," right? We talk, and she just like lets me know how much I really haven't seen her in some critical times that she needed me to see her, and she's been
Mm.
holding on for like 2 months. So now she got stress all in her neck. Her neck is sore. She's exhausted. She's frustrated. She's just in a space. And Chizzy, man, in these times that this happened, I'm like 50-50 of sabotaging this moment, right? Because I can get defensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could
You,
I could
you can
get
make
the
it
I,
about
I could
you.
get yeah, I could get debative, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And the past 2 or 3 years, I'm really hitting good because this is an opportunity for me to listen and active listening.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I just listened. I validated her feelings. I I asked her questions to reaffirm that did I understand her properly. And then I've accepted it. I apologize for my role in creating in that and being dismissive of that. I
Yeah.
thanked her for bringing it to my attention. It did hurt my feelings. And I told her that as well. I expressed my truth and just how I was receiving it.
Yeah.
But she did such a great job of delivering it. Like if I was just receiving it wrong, it was really me just being sensitive and caught up in my ego. But I hugged her, I loved her. The next day, she slept for 14 hours straight.
Really?
Yeah, man. She
Jeez.
slept for 14 hours and woke up with so much joy, so much energy. And I was like, whoa, bro. I had somebody that I love
Yeah.
trapped psychologically, emotionally, mentally,
Yeah.
relationally.
Jeez. Like
Like,
a
and
weight
she
got
was all
lifted.
the way back. Like the next day, she was back, bro. And I knew exactly, I've been with her for 24 years. I
Yeah.
knew exactly why she was back and why she slept. Man, I slept, baby. I went to bed 6 o'clock. I said, babe, you was exhausted. You was
Yeah.
really, really exhausted. Because
Yeah.
we learned that stress can show up in your body 2 months later from
Right.
something that you was dealing with. So I'm still learning, man. I'm still growing. I'm still improving my listening skills. It was a gut check to like, man, I'm 20 plus years in, still stressing my wife out. Like it really hurt my ego,
Yeah.
but I grew from it. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, bro.
I appreciate that, man, because what I'm taking from what you guys are talking about and experiencing is just the ebb and flows of being in a relationship with somebody and a commitment to somebody and learning that throughout this process, yeah, you're gonna have to take a couple jabs to the chin, or you
Mm-hmm.
know that you're gonna have to figure it
Couple.
out. And I would imagine it's gonna make your relationship a lot more stronger as a result of that breakthrough. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's
Yeah.
why that's why emotional intelligence, self-evaluation, having mentors, going through therapy, like really and truly, without all of that stuff, that conversation and that experience could have been completely different if you was a
Very
different
true.
person, if she was a different person, if you guys
Very
hadn't
true.
put that work in. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important
All
for
three of those statements are very true.
bro, and it's important, it's vital. And I think as much as see how you said she slept for 14 hours straight, and there's some people that's like, yeah, that's obvious. That's an obvious response. No, it's not an obvious response. It's not an obvious outcome because that can spiral into years and months and months and
Mm.
months of resentment, of stuff that you're sweeping under the rug. It's important to really have this conversation sooner rather than later. And trust me, I'm speaking from the perspective of having done a relation of marriage completely wrong. And I'm not saying it's all my fault, but I take my accountability, my responsibility in the pathway and the trajectory that it took. I've said this before, like the man that I am now versus the man I was back then, you know, I probably obviously would have did stuff a lot. Very different. Very different. Very, very, very
Mm.
different. Just listening to you, just being around other men who being around my parents, being around, people that I've seen and been exposed to, that's allowed me to see my own deficits and my own flaws and be able to
Mm.
check my own ego. You know what I mean? So um, there are a lot of men out there who struggle in this space, as we know. Um,
Mm.
but me as a single man, this is giving me game too, because I
Mm.
still have a desire to be in a relationship space. I still have a desire, to be in that space again, and it just reaffirms that you just don't arrive. As we know, the journey
Mm.
continues. And if you're 20
Yeah.
years in, I talk to my dad all the time, my parents all the time, the years in, and I'm still learning, still evolving, still having to navigate, still having to eat humble pie as we talk about it, still have to, make sure that you're cultivating the right environment for your wife and for your queen so that she could be all of these assets that we know she can live in and
Come
function
on.
in. You know, those evaluations are critical, bro. Those evaluations are critical. Even in listening to
Mm.
some of the recordings I'm just gonna pour out my heart a little bit to you as well. You know, I'm struggling with my kids. I'm struggling in that space right now. I'm really, 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 really struggling. Um, just the distance has become more distant, and I'm kind of like
Mm.
I don't really know how to navigate it, bro. I really don't know
Mm.
how to navigate it. My daughter's birthday is coming up soon, and I'm just like, obviously this would probably air after our birthday, but there's certain things that I'm just missing out on just by virtue of the fact of being here and having to navigate the distance and having to navigate, some of the stuff that's taking place in my absence. Um, and it's hard. It's hard. So
Yeah. And listen, here's the thing, right? I'm my heart goes to you because I'm doing it for work related reasons, right? And I'm struggling. So it's
yeah,
like I'm going back and forth to get to see him. My wife, she tried to send me some videos. CJ got his first D1 interest, right, from a
yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and so it's getting into that time of his life, right? Where it's like, okay, he's 16, he's a sophomore, he's 6'3" point guard,
yeah.
top playing a top
That
nationally
boy's
ranked
6'3"
program. Like,
though. That boy's 6'3"
yeah,
though.
he's 6'3", bro. Full 6'3". I've been through this journey though, and I know where the ball was dropped. I know where
What do you mean?
like
What do you mean when you say the ball was strong? Tell me
like
what.
like when you really are good at something where you could be a professional athlete at it,
Yeah.
being good is not the issue no more now.
I used to tell my son that what he's going. You got to show up. You got to put in your reps. You have to put the work
So
in.
like now your process, your character,
Yeah.
your environments, your networking, like now making it is like it's like an algorithm with with God's grace and mercy attached to it. You being good just simply means you're good.
Mhm.
You could be hood good. You could be hood good. You could be high school good. You could be college good. But I've been through this where I'm like, yo, man, you didn't have the right representation. You didn't go to the right program. Like these little things where I've seen people who wasn't as good or wasn't as like that or very like I've been through it, and I vividly remember from high school to my pro like journey, like certain times that man, it could have actually went this way, but it went that way, and that led to this. And so for me, it's like we strategically as a family made an investment for you to be in this. And now as a sophomore, you're getting private workout with D1s. You know what I mean? It's like you can't go by that by going to some agency that you find on Instagram. Like you gotta be in certain environments to get certain exposure. And then you gotta develop certain habits. Like the school has a class, right? It has other guys who on the same energy. Who got multiple D1 offers on his team. He got 5 guys on his team with D1 offers, right? So it's like now you just see like, okay, you got to move and be around a certain type of environment. And going back to even what we do as men, one thing that really hurts us and what it hurt me in that journey is isolation. So you talk about the distance. One of the things that you can get trapped in a whole nother cell in a whole nother world is isolation. And you have to be very intentional to put yourself in the environments that's conducive of producing the outcomes you desire. You cannot just be like, well, I got a good heart and I got good
Yeah.
talent
Yeah.
and it's going and God bless me. It's like, no, bro, that's not in the real world. That's not how it works. You gotta get with the right squad. You gotta be with the right crew, and they're gonna rub off on you, and you're gonna rub off on them. And that is something that we've been very intentional with his process, not just from a player, but definitely from a person. Because as you know, being a hooper, it develops you as a person more than it does even in basketball, and that translates differently in life. And so for me, I had so much street and culture edginess to me that was kind of like detrimental in some ways.
Okay.
And I wanted him to have the more pro polish parts of him that can translate in other areas of his life
Right.
later down the road. So if he's as a 15, 16, 17 adolescent, oh, I gotta wake up 5:30 to make workouts. Oh, I gotta look at my diet. Oh, I gotta stretch out my hips. Oh, I gotta look at film. Oh, I gotta make sure I pick up I gotta make sure like he's a because like all that matters, not hanging out, looking cool, playing games, getting the girl. Oh, and then I gotta go play ball real quick. Like, no, 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 no. What matters is your process now, so that when you get older, your process is just subconscious when you're 18. By the time you're 18, 19, it's just this is all you really know. You don't really know nothing else. You know what I'm saying?
And what you're not saying, and even though we're talking about basketball, what you're not saying, because like you said, it transfers to other areas of your life. What you're saying is, all right, CJ needs to now get his reps in for basketball. But what you're not saying is, in life, in order for you to excel in areas of your life, you have to put in the work. You have to be intentional, and you have to be consistent day in and day out. You have to make sacrifices when everybody else is out there acting a fool and doing stupid. You
Mhm.
have to. So whatever, and truth be told, you know, whatever you spend your time doing, there's going to be deficits in other parts of your life, but you have to be able to look outside the box and look outside yourself and see how am I going to augment those deficits that I'm having. And that's the truth.
Mhm.
So my question for you is, as dad, having been through that process, what does dad look like versus Coach Crump look like as it relates to CJ and how you're showing up?
It's one of the gaps. One of the gaps we had was having access made me incompetent in communication because I could just grab them because I had the authority.
Right,
So
right.
what happens now is I don't have access. So now my administration got to improve. Now my communication got to improve. Now my collaborations got to improve as a dad
Yeah.
because before I'm like, let's go, hop in the
Yeah.
truck. Let's like
Yeah.
I'm literally like yanking him out of his room,
Yeah.
right? So now it's like, okay, I'm talking to my wife more about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm like, look, go. I got this meeting set up for you. I have to put it in her calendar. I had to let them know days in advance. I had to let them know why this meeting is so important. So we got them additional trainer on Friday, and it was like this guy works out with the NBA guys. He just left the Spurs. I need him to start working out with certain people, and I need this guy to evaluate CJ, not the local guys. So you got to make a drive. So, let her. She's like, oh, I got audio books I can listen to. She goes there. She's texting me back and forth during the session. Oh, I love this guy. I said, because I need somebody also to be a mentor to him as a man. This guy's a husband. This guy's a great dad. You know what I mean? He runs a great program. He gives back to the community, and he works with NBA guys every single summer. So for me, it was like, I need you just to be around men like that who are in the space like that, who holding you accountable a
Right.
certain way.
Right.
So it's like the things that I would do when I'm there, I had to find a substitute that was equivalent, not me, but equivalent. And both my wife and my son was like, was he dad? He was like, nah, he wasn't dad, but he right under dad. Like how cause my son, because he still said I'm his hardest trainer, but he was like, he's the next hardest, the guy who he went with Friday. I was like, and I said, that's why I wanted you to take that long drive. I know it was almost an hour, but that's the person we got to work with if I'm not going to be there as regular as I was, because that's who I need to be influencing you and talking to you and checking you and challenging you on a weekly basis. Outside of your coaches, outside of your teachers, outside of your mom, I need that man in your ear as well. And the other thing is like, I'm gonna start instituting weekly Bible studies with them as
Yeah.
well.
This parenting journey, man, is different. It hits different. And our audience is captivated by the nuances of both my circumstances, your circumstances, man. So that's why I love what we do, because
Yeah,
we've connected on multiple levels, obviously, but our story
yeah,
is instrumental and critical to cover the range of the individuals and the men that
mhm.
we want to support, because we're living this stuff in real time. So as much as
Real
we talk
time,
about it a
bro.
lot, as we know, right? This is also cathartic
Yeah,
and therapeutic for us, because we get to have these conversations. We get to be in these spaces with other men, and I'm learning from you, just like how you're learning from me in terms of the blind
exactly.
spots that I may possess or you may possess, man. That's why and this is amazing to be able to be here and to talk with you,
Mm,
talk with these men, provide resources, provide a platform, and still getting my reps in too. That's the wicked part. Every time I come
mhm.
and we record, and every time we do a pod, I'm apprehensive. I'm like, I don't know. I start over process, and I'm like, what are we gonna talk about? And the moment I sit down and we talk about it, and we go through it, and we talk to men, and we have these moments, it's enriching, and I feel like my batteries just get recharged. To be like, before I came on,
But
I was
that's
feeling I was
yeah.
feeling under the weather. I was like, "Hey, I don't feel well. I'm got a cold, blah blah blah." You
Mm,
can run over stuff in your mind, and now I'm just like,
yeah.
let's get it, let's get it. That's why I love about what you do, bro. I appreciate that for real.
Yeah. Nah, man, and ditto. And what's crazy what you said is like I used to process parenting strictly from the narrative of my dad up
Yeah,
until about like my daughter turned 12. So that was what, like 6 years ago. And then after that, man, I started asking questions because their personality was coming out. It's like no matter what I was saying, they're an individual. And then their free will start to be empowered. So it's like, so their individual personality and their free will, before I just could control them little suckers when they was under 10, right? And
yeah,
it's like they started getting to the age where it's like no matter what I say, they still got their own thoughts and opinions
right,
about it, and they still got their own feelings about it, and then they got to make their own decision about it.
yeah,
So then I was like asking guys who been through this stage, and I was asking you, I was asking BK, and I was like listening. I got out of like, oh well, for me, oh no, it ain't gonna be like that. I was like, no, let me listen.
yeah,
So I'm seeing something, so let me listen. And that what that did for me, it pivoted my parenting approach.
yeah,
Like I never, I went from being the authority figure who's all about giving the mission and the modules to being the mentor and the dad who's listening and pivoting and still operating off the principles, but open to what the practice could look like.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're saying you're framing it that way because, like you, my parenting style, with the entitlement that I hear for parenting, we talk about this, in different levels because of how
Yeah.
I was parented by my own parents. I've had to now shift and develop a lot more empathy and a lot more understanding and a lot
Mm,
more character building and really just understanding, listening to who they are and what it is that how and I can extract, what I know they need versus,
mm,
what I think what they what I think I've been told they need. You know what I mean? Based on my own
mm,
experiences as a parent. You know what I mean? And the truth is, like, it's foreign to me. It's 100% foreign to
mm,
me because now I have my relationship with my children. I'm talking about my real intimate relationship with my children has to be at a particular level because it's not based off of an authority. With my parents, and
mm.
similar to you, our parents were our parents, and we
Bruh,
listened to them because they told us to do something. And
that's
these
it.
kids nowadays, the relationship part, I've had to nurture the
Mm,
relationship part of my relationship with my kids. Not that it's
mm.
right. It's truth be told, it's kind of shaky sometimes. You know what I mean? It's shaky right
Yeah.
now, but I know God's got my
Yeah.
back in this space. But I've had to
Mm,
learn how to check my ego and check the entitlement. I'm daddy, and I say what I say is how it should be, and now focus more
mm,
on them as individual people who make decisions, who have minds, who have thoughts, who have feelings, who have their own direction. And, when you get to that, my son's 22, my daughter's 18 in 2 days, um, you know, it becomes more of a support system, more of a mentorship, more of a guidance. It's less about this is what you should do and more about, all right, well, you're making decisions. Well, this is the perspective I can give on the decision you're making. You know what I mean? And that's a
yeah.
beautiful thing too. It's a beautiful thing to go through that. But it has challenges, bro. It's extremely challenging. Right now, I'm knee deep in the challenge. But I embrace it because it's just what it is.
Mm.
God's never gonna give us anything that we can't handle, and He's not gonna support us through it. So, it is what it is. It is what it is, bro.
Yeah, man. And I want to say congratulations to you, man. You were one of the fathers who inspired me.
Hey,
I was
man.
always when we used to be working, man, and you be on FaceTime and your daughter's getting her hair braided and you were just making sure you spoke into them and check. And I was like, man, I don't do that.
Yeah,
And I was like, I always say you was one of the top 5 parents that I modeled my parenting after, man. I just want to celebrate your 2 healthy, beautiful children. Shout
thank
out
you.
to your baby girl, her birthday coming up, man. That it's never perfect. It's never everything. Every day is roses. Is everything that we ever imagined. But I want you to know that I validate and respect you not only as a man, but
Yeah,
as a father,
I
and
appreciate
that
that.
I appreciate you being that brother in my life to give me something as a framework where all I had was a cussing and fussing daddy and
Yeah,
an old school mama. So I never seen talking to your children and checking in on them and how they
yeah.
feeling and what's going on in their world. I never seen a man do that. You was the first man I seen do that.
Hey, man, I
So
appreciate that. Much love.
yeah, man. So I appreciate you, man. As we say on the pod, man,
Yes, sir. Yes,
for
sir.
the journey continues. So all the fathers, all the dads out there, we want to say on behalf of Boy Man King, we see you, King.
Yeah,
We
keep doing what you do.
appreciate you.
Thanks.
We respect you. Keep showing up. Keep showing up.
Yeah,
Keep
keep
showing up
showing up.
and be there for your children, man. I know it may be hard. I know it may be challenging. I know you may
Yeah,
be up against the world sometimes, but dust yourself off, wake up in the morning, and keep showing up, man.
thanks.
And as we say on the Boy Man King, the journey continues. We out. We out. Be blessed.